What are some of your favorite memories of childhood? Summer at the lake, toasting marshmallows with your dad? How about comparing transplant scars with your friends?
We got to the hospital. We were greeted by all the nurses that pretty much helped Julian because he was a baby. And it was a very fast, surreal experience.
That's parent Brian Galvez. I'm Sarah Jane Castro, Director of Marketing and Communications for the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, and your host for this edition of The Journey Continues. Brian and his son Julian join us today to talk about Kidney Camp, our upcoming family program, and why support for families experiencing kidney disease is so important. Brian, when did you and Julian's mom Lisa learn that something was a little different with Julian's kidneys?
We probably found out 7 months into her pregnancy.
What did the doctors tell you at that time?
From what I remember, she had a low amniotic fluid. And after ultrasounds, that pretty much confirmed the size of his belly and his kidney.
Okay. What was the diagnosis they gave you?
They were not sure, but when he was born, they just said that he had an abnormally large kidney. But once he was born, the prognosis was he had polycystic kidney disease and
Okay.
Caroli's disease.
And what did that mean for day-to-day life? How did that make him, or did it make him a different type of newborn?
No, it wasn't too different. Just more therapies at the house. Pretty much, yeah. We were informed the changes. It's hard to compare. It was my first child. Don't have much of a comparison, but in terms of his communication or his ability to play and whatnot, no, that wasn't really affected. Not at that moment, but probably when he started walking, started getting a little bit older, those tasks were a little bit more difficult for him.
And what was the prognosis? Did they tell you he would need any sort of dialysis or transplant, anything like that?
They told us that eventually he was going to need a kidney transplant. But yeah, they definitely did let us know that it was going to be an issue, that it was something that we could keep an eye on. That pretty much they were going to wait until kidney function went as low as possible, just so he can get older, stronger.
Has he needed a transplant?
Yeah, he actually had a transplant in February 2022. He actually had a liver and a kidney transplant.
When did he actually get a transplant?
He got a transplant when he was 9 years old, February 9th of 2022.
What was that like? What was that experience like getting that call?
Man, it was amazing. I think I was just getting out of work. I work in Bedford Park, the 55 in Harlem. I got a couple phone calls that I didn't recognize. I didn't pick up, and then I got a phone call from Lisa, my wife, and she's pretty much slightly hysterical. Hey, we got to go. It's the call. It's the call. We had 2 hours to get there. Ran home, got everything ready, and got there within 2 hours to the hospital. And yeah, we were greeted by the nurses that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's an emotional experience. That had to be a huge moment for all of you.
Uh, so yeah, no, yeah, we got to the hospital. We were greeted by all the nurses that pretty much helped Julian. That have known him since he was born, since he was a baby, all on the 20th floor. And it was a very fast, surreal experience. And it was a 16-hour operation.
Wow.
We think it was Monday night that we got the phone call. Tuesday morning at like 7 o'clock is when we started. Sorry.
It's okay. That had to be tough to see your baby boy going into surgery, and you had to have so much fear and anxiety in that moment, but also excitement.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. They did like a little walk out to the surgery room, saw
Mhm.
a lot of music, a lot of but yeah, it was a long 16 hours. But we knew we were in good hands. It was a stressful time, but it was amazing his recovery. We saw him later on in the night, came the next morning to see him again. And I'm gonna say like 2 days later, he was already walking. He was already making big strides. He had a lot of energy. And that's kind of the way he's always been. And he never really let any of this backtrack him or affect his goals or affect what he wanted to do in life with all the limitations that he had. been a year and a half, and it's been great. He's been super active. He's a big swimmer. We've always had him in swimming since he was probably, I don't know, 6 months old. He's been swimming.
Wow.
So yeah, he's always been into swimming. He had dialysis with COVID. He's actually been doing a lot of activities with Ability Lab, the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. He's on their swimming team. He was able to go. This is his first year participating in meets. We were all over Madison, Wisconsin, Indiana, Alabama. He's won gold medals, silver medals, the nationals in Alabama. It's been great. I guess you never really imagined how happy you could be until everything comes to fruition.
I'm sure that's been an exciting experience to see him thrive in that way and see him like really take to something and that maybe people wouldn't have thought he could do. So you and your wife Lisa sent Julian away to kidney camp this summer for the first time. What was that like for the two of you?
It was actually his second time.
Oh, it was his second
Uh,
time. Oh, I
this
apologize. Okay.
No, yeah, this was his second time. His first time was in 2019.
Okay.
And pretty much before we started getting news of, kidney function going lower. But yeah, this is the second time. I mean, it's great. I mean, he made it back post surgery. He's been, super happy about it. We've been looking forward to it. We've been planning our summer around it. First year that he doesn't spend 4th of July with us. That's Mom's birthday. So, he was quick to tell Mom, yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right while I go to camp. But no, it's been great. He came back very excited. He got to try a lot of new activities that he hasn't tried before, fishing, archery. It was a long 5 days, but at the same time, it flew when he got back. He's excited to hope participating next year.
Did you have any anxieties about sending him away post-transplant, that he would take his medication and do what he needed to do?
Honestly, the staff and the nurses that have been there, or that they have for these programs, they seem very well rounded. They seem very on top of what they're doing. I guess what worries us is more when he gets back from camp, he gets sick, he comes back. That's kind of what happens to us every time we kind of leave the state or we go on some sort of trip and we come back. It's usually some sort of complication. He gets a flu or something like that. But no, this time he was fine. He was great. Actually, he got back on Friday, and on that following Monday, he was already competing for the Alabama national meet for the Ability Lab. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a great summer. We used to spend a lot of time at the ER, and not as much anymore. We still have to go, because any little flu or any little, well, not any little cough, but if you have a fever or anything, we don't really wait around. But it's been great. It really has been like a dream come true.
When you sent him away to camp, what were you hoping he'd gain from that experience?
A little bit more independence, really just seeing, learning how to live with other people, with other friends, making friends, learning patience, something that, he's an only child. He's always been very much catered to. So, now there's other children and everybody's a priority. Pretty much just learning to live with other people, in a small space.
Did you see him come home with some of those critical skills that you were hoping he'd pick up?
Yeah, I mean, he's always he's a good kid, but I guess once I can't say that I've seen it. Maybe that's something when I see him with other boys and other friends and so on and so forth. But no, he's always in good spirits. He's always a very very good boy.
What advice do you have for other parents who are maybe hesitant to send their kids to camp? I imagine when your child has been ill, it's really hard to let them go somewhere outside where you can't keep your eyes on them.
It all depends on where the child is at and what stage and what they're going through. I mean, I think we were very lucky with Julian. At a first glance, you wouldn't really be able to tell that he was going through what he was going through, really. The only thing that looked, was his slightly bigger belly because of his enlarged kidneys. It's not a one answer for all.
Mm.
There's some kids that are going through dialysis, and that's a whole nother ballpark of dealing with things. You got to just believe yourself. You got to believe in your choice. And if it's something that feels right, then definitely go for it. But if it's something that you have any type of hesitation, then, it's probably best to wait until he or she gets healthier, stronger, or there's a change. I definitely recommend it. Hopefully, we can continue to participate, and he continues to want to go and experience that.
Where do you and Lisa turn for support? You mentioned the nurses being a big part of your lives. Where else do you turn for support?
Definitely family. My parents, her parents, our siblings, her siblings. We don't have a really, really big family, but we've been blessed to have our family in the position to, help us to take time away from whatever they got going on, depending on each other, pretty much sharing more responsibilities. It's not just one person's job. It's a team effort. But I guess I would say, depending on each other, and definitely grandparents. The more
Mm-hmm.
grandparents you have, the better.
That's good advice. I know that you're planning to attend our family program at the Museum of Science and Industry. Why do you think programs like that are important for parents and kids?
Make them feel like they're not by themselves. That this isn't just something that happens to them. That there's more of this going on. You're not so different. You're not the only one that has these type of issues. Maybe learning to cope, or maybe seeing that it's not so bad, or that it's a little bit more acceptable, or it's not as a big deal really. And that's kind of one of the things that we've really learned from Julian. He doesn't act like he has any limitations, in terms of sports or anything like that. He definitely does, but his attitude has definitely made the transition and our journey so much easier. His attitude and probably the limitations that he has aren't as great as maybe other children do have.
Mhm. When you imagine Julian's future, what do you hope for?
Uh, what do I hope for him in the future? I guess for him to have a great education, to have independence, to learn to have patience with our neighbors, with our coworkers, with our everybody, for his health. His
Mhm.
health is the most important thing. That he continues to grow as a person, to be successful, to not let this burden him as much as it is, not let this be an obstacle, or an obstacle that's gonna, deter him from chasing an opportunity. I don't know, moving somewhere, finding a job somewhere that he loves. I'm hoping that he can find something he loves to do.
Sounds like he's already kind of finding it with swimming. He's at least has some interests that he's passionate about. Why don't we hear from the kidney camper, Julian himself? Julian, what do you know about your kidney disease and your transplant? Tell us everything you know.
I'm pretty sure back then it was way worse. I didn't know this because I was just like young and small. But I could remember like a function. My kidneys started like big, but like in 2019 it got bigger. But like in 2021 I had to get this thing on my stomach, and it was a tube, a dialysis.
Let's talk about your kidney transplant. Did you feel scared when you were having your transplant?
A little bit, yeah. I kind of remember like asking them like questions. This one was like 16 hours. When I was done, I was asleep. When I woke up, I feel okay. When I think about this, I just like keep on going, like walking, playing other sports, taking like one step at a time. I do remember being a little bit dizzy. My mom was here, and I wake up. I said hi, mom, and then like I would be a little tired, but sometimes I would walk around the whole hallway, play with my mom and my nurses.
Your dad says you're a great swimmer. Do kids ever notice your transplant scar when you're swimming and ask you about it?
When I first went swimming, like it would be a hard time for me to do it because sometimes I didn't know this stuff. Free. I had to practice because the last time I'd been swimming was 2 or 3 years ago, and then like I felt kind of good, and then I swam, and I could like do anything that like I couldn't do.
Tell us about some of the fun things you did at kidney camp this summer. What were some of your favorite activities?
Archery, flag football, fishing, and I do remember doing the water polo class. I never really had like so much fun.
What was it like to be away from your mom and dad for a whole week? Were you scared at all? Did you miss them, or did you feel okay because you were with friends?
It was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Okay. What are you looking forward to most about next year's kidney camp?
I don't even know if I want to go back.
Oh, okay.
Let
Why not?
me just say this. When I went in there, it was fine, but when I have to go to the bathroom, it's not fine because it's dirty.
Oh, okay. The bathrooms are dirty. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a summer camp experience I think we've all had. What advice do you have for other kids who are going through what you went through? What would you tell them to keep them going and encourage them?
Just go forward, take one step at a time, and then you'll reach to success.
And what grade are you about to enter?
5th,
What are you excited about for 5th grade?
food science.
Okay, food science. Is that where you cook?
No, it's like this thing, like a light bulb potato and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds cool. Well, Julian, thank you very much for talking with me about kidney camp and about your life. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
You just gotta keep on going, keep on pushing, and eventually you'll find the light. Well, 9 years later, that's when we found our light. It's a slow process, and you have to be very patient, but eventually, everything will work itself out.
There are about 9,800 youth nationwide living with end-stage renal disease. NKFI hosts the country's only educational event for kidney kids and their parents. Learn more about Kidney Camp and our family program by visiting our website at nkfi.org. I'm Sarah Jane Castro, and this is The Journey Continues. Prevention is a key part of our mission at NKFI. That's why at the end of each episode, Dr. Melissa Prest offers a health or nutrition tip.
Here's today's nutrition tip about vitamin D. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning it's stored in fat in the body. You may have heard vitamin D called the sunshine vitamin because we can get it from exposure to the sun. But we can also get vitamin D from the foods that we eat. The best sources of vitamin D are fatty fish like salmon and tuna, and foods fortified with vitamin D like milk. Vitamin D is also present in small amounts in beef liver, cheese, egg yolks, and mushrooms. Vitamin D plays many roles in the body, including promoting calcium absorption in the gut and maintaining enough blood calcium and phosphate concentrations to allow for normal bone development. Without enough vitamin D, bones may become thin, brittle, and misshaped. Calcium plus vitamin D helps to protect older adults from osteoporosis, which is a disease that causes bones to become weak and brittle, making them easy to break. Many people are at risk for vitamin D deficiency, including people living with chronic kidney disease. This is because your kidneys play an important role in how your body activates vitamin D from sun exposure and the foods we eat. If your kidneys are not healthy, then you may have low levels of vitamin D in your blood. It's important to have your vitamin D levels checked by your healthcare provider and be treated if they are low. With today's nutrition tip, I'm Melissa Prest, a registered dietitian nutritionist and the foundation dietitian for the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois.